I just
Yeah,
like how
so
we went from like gas station cupcake to Bible.
yep, that's how my brain works. I'm all
Yeah.
over the place.
It's good. I like it.
My skull's just like it's just a cage full of Jack Russell Terriers and ferrets.
What about this? Hey, what about this?
It's real it. Yep, that's how it is. Yeah.
So I guess we can tell you're not playing yet because that wasn't Pokemon analogy for the inside of your brain. It's like, oh,
No.
it's just full of Pidgeys and Ratatats. Like it's
Yep.
can't possibly contain it.
No. No. I still call them punchy rocks. There's was it a geode one? I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Rats.
Uh,
I still think it's just dogfighting.
I mean, it is, but when you say it like that, you don't have to say it. It's cute.
Horrible.
Oh, I
It's
love
cute.
saying it like that.
Jigglypuff against
Yep.
Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
Technically dogfighting.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Shall we begin?
Sure.
The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1 month. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I struggled because I was like,
It's
I've
happening.
had to say his name. I've had to say it a bunch of times now, and I keep going 1 year and a bit, or trying. I've done 14 months a few times and not liked it. So
just say he
he,
hasn't moved out yet.
I still have a kid.
I'll cover you for a while.
Yeah, he is 1 year and 2 months.
I thought you were just gonna go with the 1 year for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Even the 2 months thing is just like it's frustrating. I got a 1 year old. What's it to you?
Exactly. My name's Gavin. I have an 11-month-old.
And I'm Jeff. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, no, I pulled that like I tripped over that like 3 or 4 times meeting new people. Like, how old is he? And it's like, because 14 months, like it's almost like I'm doing a year in 4 months, which that's not 14 years, and
Nope.
I'm choking all over it because it's like,
It's like when somebody asks you what time it is and you want to be cool and give them military time, but then you mess it up. It's like, oh, 3200. And they're like, no, that's not how it works.
Or you relate it to your wife. You're like, oh yeah, she's on mat leave, or she's been off mat leave for like 2 months, so
Yeah.
she's back to work.
so gentlemen, how was your week in fatherhood and gaming?
Um, uh, Mine was pretty good. Uh, Fatherhood
Okay,
wise.
Jeff. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, honestly, you can't pass to Jeff. I haven't. That it was pretty, just good week.
Well,
It's a good week.
you can give us an update on the sleep training, how that's going.
Good, good. She's taken to it. The only one little hurdle that we did hit was her milk tolerance at night, like as far as like how much bottle she can take. Used to be a lot higher, but for some reason now, if we overfeed her a bottle, she just pops, and we got to clean that up. Um, but knock on wood, tonight's been good, and it's only that one. It's only the nighttime bottle. It wasn't like the midday ones or anything like that. It was just the nighttime one, and it's not like that one was much bigger than the other ones, but we knocked the volume down a little bit tonight, and also made sure she took breaks, so that way she just didn't slam the whole thing back and then lose it. And yeah, that seemed to go over a little bit better. So, but we did some research too, and it seems like it's kind of a common thing sometimes. Like babies just have a little bit of a bedtime barfy phase, and so yeah, we've been kind of contending with that, and yeah, it's you clean it up, you move on.
That
A
might
little
just
bit
be a
extra
nicety
laundry.
that might just be a nicety that us parents like say to each other. It's like, yeah, I don't know, my kid's like leg keeps falling off and he attaches it. Oh, it's a phase. Every kid
Yeah.
has a leg fall offy phase. Don't worry about it.
Hey, go walk it off. Well,
Uh,
not until it's back on.
Yes.
Jeff, yourself?
My week was full of poop.
Ooh,
Cool.
like,
Trevor. Yeah, in direct contrast to Gavin's week, my 3-year-old decided, hey, I don't want to be potty trained anymore, and
Oh no.
decided to poop his pants on
ooh,
multiple occasions. So that wasn't fun, and that's
Not even
way
just
worse.
Not even just the once. Like it was.
No, it was multiple times, like
So these
over
are
the
like
span of a
these
week.
are like defiant poops, like a
Yep,
defiant
I'm
occasion.
pretty sure like an angry defiant poop,
You're the anger.
which angry poop, which is so much worse. You probably just conjure up everything and just get it all out.
Oh,
It's bad. It
yeah.
stinks. So yeah, those were
Anger
not
is
fun.
nature's laxative.
Yeah. Um, and to go along with that, my
Oh,
6-year-old hasn't experienced a plugged toilet before. So he
oh,
goes to the bathroom by himself, and then I find out later, hey, the toilet was plugged, and he continually tried to flush it.
hmm.
So there was water all in my basement that I
You
had to
had
clean up.
all the poop.
Yeah, so that's not fun. Um, so I needed a break, and at the end of the week, I decided to go to Beer Fest.
There you go.
So
Okay. For a
Just
second, I
one.
felt like this was going to be your break, and I'm like,
no,
poor choice,
no,
poor choice, sir. Just get out there, go.
yeah. Well,
It's one of those beer fests that like nobody can be like, do you really need to be going? It's like
no,
you just explained your week, and it's like
yeah.
nobody would deny you that.
I have 2 kids. Just let me get in.
Just give me this.
So no, that was really great. It was hot though. It was again another scorcher, like
Did
41
you go on the
degrees
Friday?
Celsius. Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
Friday was nuts.
So, but we survived barely. And then today I'm just drinking more poop.
Ah, sick
Brutal.
burn.
This wheat side
What?
launch is horrible.
Tip of the hat to the segue.
Come on,
Bad.
man. It's one of my favorite beers. What is this?
I don't like it.
Well, what does it taste like? Are you saying it tastes like raspberries like last time?
It has something in it. I don't know. You say it's banana. I don't know what it is.
It's not beer though.
It's not. I don't know.
You guys are. That's terrible. All
What I
right.
find is like
Though,
very peculiar though is that this beer that like according to Jeff and I'm gonna get a hold of one and try it. I didn't go hunting for one because I'm like if I walk by it and it's there I'll get it.
yeah.
I'm not gonna make a special trek. But it just seems to be very popular. Like it's sold out of a lot of beer stores and it's like do people really like it or is it just like everybody
It's
wants to be seen with the can?
it's the Pokemon Go of beers right now.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
it's like
say.
an old gas station cupcake right now. you
I feel so
you
bad because like I could just imagine eventually somebody looking back into old podcasts just trying to find like some time that I ever talk smack about another game and they're like there was that one time Gavin called Pokemon Go a gas station cupcake.
Yep.
Oh great, that's gonna be some mudslinger is gonna dig
Man,
this up. But
it's
that's
not
okay.
even
I
just
stand by
the.
it.
It's not even just the. It's fine if you don't like it, but it was just like the. Man, that's such a diverse set of opinions on it because I love it.
yeah.
And it's fine. It's not you came on and said it's not for me. I don't like how this thing. It's like you call it poop water. Like it's like,
Big old can of poop.
Yeah.
so it's like you're dying of like well, dying of thirst isn't a good example, but
I would
it's a
not drink this.
it's a hot Friday after a week long of poop fest, and
Yeah.
that's what you're offered, and you reject it.
Oh, I that would be the straw that broke the camel's back. I'd be like, that's it. I can't even get a good beer. Are you kidding me?
Bold, wow.
Yeah,
No,
like if
but
Jeff was offered like Mountain Dew or crab juice.
oh yeah,
Oh
Mountain
yeah,
Dew.
that's an old reference, eh?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
You'll have to be the tiebreaker, Gavin. I don't know. I don't know about this.
I will,
Now, if Gavin, I'm hoping, man, you're at least in the mid range of like it's fine. Because if you come on too saying it, I hate it, then we have problems.
that's just gonna shatter poor Trevor's reality.
What's real anymore?
I don't understand.
Oh,
You're
just,
gonna go to the doctor. You're like, I think there's something wrong with my tongue because apparently.
yeah, I think it's more my. I think it's more my credibility because like next time I read, everyone's gonna be writing things down and saying anytime Trevor recommends it, like, ooh, cross. That's on the no-fly list. No, thank you, thanks, Trevor.
Yeah, but now if I think it's delicious. I'm gonna say it's horrible just to mess with you.
Oh, there you go. No,
I'm
done.
gonna be biased now. No, I'll try it out. I know that Trevor's banking on meh. As far as my review goes.
Man up.
Meh and up. Anything north of meh, is
It's a victory.
but of course a Gavin meh is like a
That's
how
pretty
to put it.
serious, right?
It's pretty
Yeah.
yeah. I don't just give out meh. You know,
Uh,
How you high connoisseurs of taste.
I'm literally drinking something with orange juice in it, so I wouldn't put me that
Whoa.
high up. Yeah,
Like a screwdriver?
no, it's the Amsterdam Brewery. They call it the Sweetwater Squeeze Radler Blood Orange.
Okay. Well, I guess we're doing our beer picks now, by the way. So,
Oh,
like,
hey,
so what do you,
we're already there.
what,
yeah, Jeff,
why did you
Jeff,
go for it?
I left flavor
go.
country.
Yeah.
It's good. It's tasty.
So we're gonna put Jeff. Hold on, we'll just put down. So Jeff side launch,
Loved
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe to save his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So Gavin, so what are you drinking then? So a Radler from Amsterdam, I believe.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's a little bit more on the orange juice side than the beer side than I like. Lowenbrow did one with lemon that was I found a little bit more refreshing and tart. Like this one's not bad, but a little sweet for like my personal taste. But over ice, like it's refreshing. But like if I was to sit down to it and nobody told me it was a Radler, I thought it was be like some sort of a cooler spritzer kind of thing. Um, so it's good. I think it's just sort of a little bit further away from the beer family than I prefer, as far as if I'm sitting down to something like that. But as far as a grown-up beverage and something cold and sweet and a little tart on a warm day, it's still enjoyable. Like it's no side launch. Um, I'm just joking.
It's gonna be
I-
Now
great.
for the so I think one of the more popular Radlers is the grapefruit one.
Yeah, there's a lot of grapefruit ones, but
There's one like I don't want to call it famous, but like the can is like orange and white, like almost a little bit old school looking. I think if anyone's or at least I think grapefruit rather would be a good baseline. Do you like that? You like that one?
I'm gonna have to actually try the grapefruit one because I originally got the blood orange one because I was gonna be splitting it with my wife, and I know she's not a big fan of grapefruit, so I went with something that I knew was a flavor that she enjoyed, and we both liked it, but we both also agreed that the Lowenbrow one that we had was a little bit nicer. Like we liked it a little bit more. But actually, the other night we, um, the cider that you can get at the wine rack. Is that Babes? What's the name of that cider?
Outside opinion.
Growers, yeah, Growers brand cider. They do a pear cider. We had it the other night, and it was really nice. It was clean, refreshing, really crisp. It was good, really, really good. Nice over ice, and yeah, you can get it at the wine rack, which is convenient too, because they're usually open late. And I was there anyways to get some sparkling wine for a friend, and I was like, I'll grab a cold can of that. Why not? And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So did my wife. It was a nice one for us to split. Yeah. A pro tip for couples: if you're splitting like a cider or a radler or something that's nice over ice, and it comes in a tall can, if you get two Pilsner glasses, it fills up really well.
Hmm.
And it's a good way to sort of just if you just want to share something, because that's the thing too with these sweeter sort of radlers is I find it's like to sit to a whole pint of it can be a little bit much. But to have half a pint of it is over some ice is quite nice. It treats it more like a cocktail than an actual pint of beer.
Nice, good pick. I like it. So for myself, I've actually gone off beer again. I like the. It was one of the more interesting things that I'd seen in there, and we had an opportunity to travel to Australia at some point. One thing that was big down there was something called ginger beer. So alcoholic ginger beer. So it's like so this one in particular is Krabby's. Now it's it's not.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I've
had
had
beer
that
fest
before.
too.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's a tasty one. So it's not like it's definitely not a Ryan ginger, and it's definitely not and much more milder from a ginger ale type point of view. Like it's definitely mild on the ginger taste to it, but it's I don't know if malt is really the right way to describe it, but it's definitely like a mild type of ginger taste to it. It's got a decent. It's not hugely alcoholic. I think it's only 4%. But ends up being a bit on that sweeter, milder side. And if you've not quite like beer, if you almost like beer, like it's just not quite your thing. Like this definitely ends up being kind of a nice offshoot that you can kind of get into. So it's flavorful, refreshing, like, and it's always a great time to have. Always a great time to have. It's flavorful, refreshing. It's always a nice alternative or something to kind of switch it up. And again, for as with most of our picks, it seems these weeks goes well on a hot summer days. So
You know what was extra like that lineup? They were at Beer Fest, right? Krabby's, they were there,
oh, nice.
and so they were pretty popular. What was extremely popular was Twisted Tea.
Mm.
And I was
Tea.
See that.
gonna Ralph as I looked at it. I was like, "This is not my cup of tea."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I like tea, but I really like iced tea, but I'm not sure about like a
Yeah, I don't know if those
well, like
flavors mix for me.
Long Island iced tea. But is there even? I don't even think there's tea in a Long Island iced tea. Is there?
No, I don't think there is.
No, it's just a mix of things that taste like tea.
Now, did you have one, or were you just not? You weren't in the mood for a bad drink experience.
No, I didn't want to like toy with my stomach at that point. So
That lure didn't work for you.
no, it didn't. So I
Because you know what the challenge is now next week? Hard tea for everybody.
why did I do this again?
No, we won't. We won't go down there. We've had our fun. Now it's time to get some good beers out there. As he holds up the side launch can, it's growing on you, isn't it? Say it.
It's growing somewhere.
Something.
Somewhere.
Just yeah, I would like to switch to games, but real quick, like Jeff, did you have any good beer experiences then at it? Like, did you discover anything, or was it more known fare?
I think the problem with that kind of place is that you taste so much in such a small period of time. Not only are you getting drunk at the end of it, but your palate is all messed up. So if you go from one station to the next, you don't really remember the brewery you were just at. Like, you don't. So it's great that they're all there, and I'm sure that they're trying to, gain customers through something, and I can remember some of them, but I don't think it's a good experience for them. It's more like, hey, what can get me hammered? Give me this. I'm going to go over to the Bud Light tent, then go over to Left Field, I think was there, and Mad Jack was there. They had their apple cider.
Okay. Yeah.
Did they have their root beer? Because that's the one that
I don't
I
think
tried.
they did. I don't think they did. I think it was the apple. So
They didn't have any left. It was just sold out.
yeah, but nothing that I can recall that was like off the charts. Side launch was there.
Yeah. And it was delicious.
Yep. But it was.
Beautiful. And that, guys. So, the gaming news, I bought a PS4.
Whoa.
One of us. One of us.
Man, you all got long load times. Holy hell. I forgot how long it takes to load a game.
For what?
Jeez.
For what? What are you talking about?
So the one, actually, like a nod to you, Gavin, I was actually playing Just Cause 3 as one of
Oh,
the
that's
games.
the worst one to start with.
First one to do.
Is it? Is it notoriously
That's
bad
horrible.
loading? Okay.
You remember when I first got it? That was like my huge primary complaint of the game was the load times were stupid long.
Okay, that helps me a bit. Like, and I'll say, so I got 3 games with it. I bought the Nathan Drake edition. Not so much. It was actually like the cheapest basic option. Plus, it came with Nathan Drake, which I wanted to play anyways. The 4th one, Thief's End. So excited to dip into that. I was a little bit on the fence about it, though, because it's like the blue. The thing is blue, and it's got Nathan Drake on it. And I'm trying to think about, like, in a year, am I going to really want to have Nathan Drake adorning my living room? But I figure eventually he'll be kind of like on a shelf, like underneath, so it'll be fine. Don't have to look on it directly.
Tucked away as possible to keep, kid hands off of it.
Yeah.
Also,
This is-
the buttons on the front, because they're like not press-in buttons, they're just like if your skin makes contact with them, they work. So like baby was turning it on all the time just by like grazing it with her little hands, so I had to move it, and then I'll even turn it on if I'm dusting. So yeah, just be wary of that, or else it's just gonna be on. And it's not gonna do anything other than just like up your energy bill.
I'm just staring, like, I brought it out, and I'm just like, so how do you turn this thing on? Like, I was looking at it for a bit, because previously there's been pretty obvious, like, glowing buttons, and now, like, it's cleverly
It's
hidden.
just so pristinely hidden.
I'm not sure why they did that though.
prom
Yeah,
night
like what
party.
to what end? Like
Like
I imagine like you can imagine kids like just like setting it up on Christmas and staring at it like,
like I have no idea what to do.
Dad, help!
oh man, I'll say that. So this would be kind of a funny review. I mean, we're about to get into another cycle of consoles, so to do a review of the PS4 is a little bit bizarre. But like this would be my first foray into the new generation of consoles, and oh god, like it accepts keyboard input. That's fantastic for signing up the first time. Oh, how beautiful that was.
Right.
Yeah, and like the actual like the system and the menus and everything, like it in its entirety is quite beautiful. This kind of half off mode or the save power mode that it runs on is phenomenal. So it just like boots up in a quick second. A great experience I had was we had some food delivering, and in the middle of a game, hopped out to the main. And I think this would be an overarching concept around. I think these consoles seem to be very father friendly as far as being able to jump into games and like jump out as necessary.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's for every single game that it works like this, but I found it so far not that. Yeah, I imagine anything online, but anything you're just playing through.
Anything
Uh,
that keeps playing without you.
yeah, so because I was playing it, food came. I had to run to the door, so I got out to the main screen. Went, got the food. Now I have food, and I wasn't really going to play with it, so I hopped into Netflix, just put something on, watched that for a little bit while I ate. Okay, now food's gone. Hop back into the game, and I'm just exactly right where I was, and like just cruising along. And this is after you come down, press button, sit down, ready to go.
Yeah.
You got games.
Yeah.
So that singular focus on just playing games certainly is an advantage compared to consoles, which has been like that's been a lot of fun to see. The load man, the Just Cause load times. I'm glad to hear that from you because
Yeah.
that was
No, man.
troubling. I'm like, oh god, this is
It's forever.
this is.
It was rough. It was very rough.
But
And, like, even like open world games, usually you bank for a few extra moments of load, but like that was just a while. And like even after they patched it to make it better, it was still a long time.
yeah, but it's no, but you're on point, man. That game is fantastic, and I had a bit of a hankering for an open world, and this kind of felt like they were playing that open world game, and they got real bored of traversing. So like just give them like some sort of magic shot, slingshot or something, just for us, just as a dev tool, and then they
Yeah.
just kept it in because it's amazing. 'Cause that's the most overpowered,
It's
absurd, like appendage I've ever seen in video games. Like that is just a riot.
and
Oh
it's funny
man.
how it evolved too, because in I played the first one, like Just Cause 1, and that game it's so different compared to where it's gone now. But like you had the parachute and you did have the grappling hook, but it was actually like a weapon you had to take out, and it was like a spear gun that you'd have to shoot. It wasn't attached to your arm or anything. And then in the second one is when they really streamlined it to be kind of this Spider-Man extendo glove. And then you had the parachute as well. And then the third one, they're like, well, let's give you a wingsuit too. Um, but yeah, the second one, you had that same sort of like that thing. Just you were like Spider-Man with guns and a parachute. And it's like that's just too much power for one person.
But in a very great way. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
to great effect. I basically am saying because it's kind of like it's a perfect powered fantasy zipping around. It's them having very much a video game, and it's very much fun for it. Like it's kind of the throwing away of any concern about realism as far as how you exist in this open world. You're just this overpowered monkey zipping about, bringing death, and it's a blast.
And some of my favorite moments too was just flying around with the wingsuit. Like that was very relaxing. Like, just going over like a lavender field and just sort of cresting the top of it. And I was just like, that's really cool. It's like the colors were nice and vibrant. Like the game had a lot of really fun little moments in it, but they were fun little moments you had to discover on your own. Like they weren't really, your hand wasn't held and brought to these nice moments. Like it was, it allowed a lot of discovery, but not by way of like hidden objectives or things like that, just by exploring and discovering a world. And bridges explode wonderfully. I'm not sure if you've blown up a few bridges yet, but
Seems
wow.
aggressive. Well, just like these are people you're supposed to be liberating. You're just zipping about, ruining their bridges. Seems, yeah, I know. But I'm also building chairs for the old ladies, so
Exactly.
So Yes. Otherwise, I mean, like you start the game and as it's installing, they have something called Boom Beach, which is just a tinier sandbox you get to just play around in while it's installing. So you have like no downtime. I don't know if you noticed that one.
I don't think it was around when I did it. Maybe
Okay,
the
must have been one of the
first
patches,
thing.
but yeah, you start it and it's like yeah, there's something called Boom Beach, and you just like you hop in and it's just tiny little. There's no people. There's
The
nothing else.
iOS app.
Oh, nice. The yeah, so and on the top is telling you like how long it's installed, and as soon as it installs, you just leave and play the actual game. And between that and just like the save points and the restart points after you die, like I'm just finding it's super accommodating with time, which has been fantastic. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
That was the one
So,
thing that I found was frustrating about it is like, um, every time I would die, I would see the time just ticking away on the clock, and I'm like, oh, nap time's almost over. Come on, just
Yeah.
load. And then like it would load, and I would like get maybe 20 feet from where I respawned, and then I die, and then it'd take like 4 times longer than I lived to load. And I'm like, oh, just do it, just go.
yeah,
Um,
it's one of the. I suppose that's one of the worst parts of the death is the load time more than the
that's right.
setback.
It's not, yeah, it's not having to redo the stuff. It's having to wait for it to reload. That was really the hard part for it, which almost knocked me out of the game. And then luckily the patch brought it down enough that I was able, okay, I can enjoy this. And then I also stopped dying as often, which is great. Because there is a bit of
Yes,
a ramp up as far as like unlocking different tools and stuff that help keep you from dying, and that helped.
well, it's just like eventually, it's a real dark ballet. Like once you learn how all the things work together, and like you get really good at the hook shot and the parachute, and you're flying up. Like you string together some really beautiful looking stuff. Like it's kind of nuts. Like
Yeah,
hook shot, go over, jump on this guy, parachute up, fly over this way, wingsuit, zip down the coast, and you're just like, this is wild. And then you steal a helicopter, zip up, like that's wild. And like I said, it's great from a father's perspective because it's just super respectful of time.
yeah,
And that's the other, just quickly for the other stuff. So I NHL 2016. It was on for like a on for a song, and I tended to enjoy hockey games. I think they've entered the Uncali Valley part now, where the everything looks so pristine and the players look and act normally so perfectly. Like it's like the little quirks, like when they get into a corner and they kind of need to jump around or hit somebody else, where it used to be acceptable because it was, oh, this is a video game. It looks like a video
Mhm.
game. Now because it looks like an actual human match of hockey, like you
yeah,
get this bizarre. It's kind of off-putting, like how close they are. It's
yeah,
definitely uncanny valley,
yeah,
and unfortunately now too is like they've kind of also made it in that realism. They started to not make it as fun anymore.
No.
Like it's still like I think there was a bit of an up. It helped when I learned the mechanics a little bit better, and I'm starting to have a bit of a better time with it. But it's just not the same. You remember? I think like 2012 was a really great year for a hockey game. And there's like probably like a 2008 before that,
NHL 94. Are you kidding
yeah.
me?
And
Wraparound
even
score.
that one is still damn entertaining when you play it on emulator. So it kind of feels like they might have taken a few too many steps towards real life.
yeah. So it's trying to strike that balance between like you need to be able to play it like a game rather than a hockey broadcast simulation. And it's that you want that sense of like, ooh, this looks like a really fun, good hockey match, but then you also want it to feel like a good video game, and playing a video game and playing hockey are sometimes not the same thing. Most times, not the same thing. You don't really lose many teeth in video games, but yeah, it's
Well,
you want to capture that excitement of playing hockey, but and then sometimes I think they focus a lot on the realism of the physics and the texture mapping and lighting and all that stuff.
Well, even
Um,
I'll give you another one. I mean, like the one of the bizarre and kind of bold choices is that they have real life like video broadcasters before each game, like breaking down what's going to happen. And
yeah,
they do not have enough videos to make that viable. Like how long until you see repeats of that thing? Like
yeah,
that seems doomed to fail. Like they got pretty good with just the voices. I mean,
yeah,
obviously you'd hear repeats, but like it felt fresh enough that it was forgivable. But man, those videos are going to be. I don't even know why either. Like why? Who wants to see? Like this is about playing a. Like I don't want to. I don't know. I'm sure anyone. Maybe it's it's from NBC. It's like NBC is all over this thing, uh, um, like the NBC logo and like EA on NBC, all this great stuff. So I don't know if they're pushing their own guys, but man, it is a bizarre choice to see actual humans talking to me. It's like 1990s like
Yeah.
video.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. What
Don't
is
judge me.
You play hockey, not wing commander.
Leave me alone, Bob Cole. I don't need your condemnation. But anyway, that's a blast. And, so I'm gonna try to get into Nathan Drake too. There's part of me that wants to. Gavin, you'd offered up lending me some of your copies.
Oh,
I don't
no,
know.
it comes out. It's on air.
What's this?
Lending it out.
So
Well, that's
you,
hey,
you,
you know,
you've gone your route of going like one by one, like going through the series 1 through 4. And I surmise I'm not sure I have the patience, and I just want to jump into 4 and see what this beautiful console can produce, because it sounds like this has thus far been the crescendo. Like this has been the highest piece that the console's produced.
yeah,
Is that
like
fair?
the other two look dated, but the fourth one just looks so pretty. So like if it depends on the story and how important it is to you. Like if you want to kind of learn where Nathan Drake, like, or at least where the game got its start, I guess. If you're curious on like how the game mechanics have evolved over time and all that, then I'd say play through them chronologically. But if you're really just excited to get into it, then I say go for it.
Yeah, I think actually, so I've seen some projects where they've taken each of those games and just put together all of the cutscenes, and apparently they end up being pretty good movies. like it's pretty cohesive. Like so they'll actually cut it together. So I might just watch those and get through it. The thought of playing 3 games to get to this one, yeah, it's a little bit. I got a lot of other stuff.
I
And the
may
whole
not skip the third one and get right into 4, but we'll see.
nice. So the whole the reason for this was the No Man's Sky comes out on August 9th.
Oh, you're preparing for that, eh?
I am preparing for I am preparing for the one and only game. When I take off into space, God, if I hate this game, like it's gonna be like
Our final episode will be the week prior to that,
Yeah.
because we will never see Trevor again.
yeah. I'm just like I come onto the call and I'm just like staring at my feet the whole time. It's like, Trevor, do you want to say anything? No.
You just want to
No.
get back to the game, don't you? Yeah,
No, not even that. I'm saying like if it's bad, I'm just gonna be
oh, yeah.
ruined.
Well,
I'll be a husk of a man.
Like either it's good and you're gonna be playing it, or it's bad and you're gonna give up on video games and everything to do with them, and just quit the podcast.
Yeah.
So
It is a big.
you're gone.
There's
It's
a
a big
lot of
day.
hype around this one too, right? Like it's hinging on a lot of things working for it.
So I feel like the thing. Like, it's been so quiet though. Like it's this weird type of confidence it almost feels like it has. Like they've just started to release some trailers on the lead up to it now.
Yeah.
And I think it's like 4, like Fly, Survive, Fight, or whatever 4 that they're going, and they have ones for each one. For the first time, you saw somebody else, like not the face, like the helmet of somebody, and they kind of showed you how you'd go into a place and buy and sell. Like this is the type of thing that you usually know, like head to toe by the time the game's even close to being released. Like there's a bunch of stuff that we have no clue about how that stuff works in this game, which I don't so much think is. Which somehow, to me, just feels, given how much they have shown of the game. I mean, they've been on primetime, they're on Colbert, like showing it. Like it's not like they've been cut off from the media. They just have not shown a bunch of it, which feels again like a sort of quiet confidence in the product to allow people to experience it.
I find that refreshing though, because when we're in a day and age where like movie trailers pretty well give you the whole thing. Like there's not much left to our discovery as the audience. So I'm actually very happy that they're limiting how much of what's available in the game to be exposed early and prematurely. Like it's just let us discover it, or if we don't want to discover it for ourselves, let us read a review about it after it comes out. But yeah, I think sometimes people mistake hype for just a slow release of everything, and it's like, oh no, just release it at once. Don't like give us everything, and then it's like when you see a movie trailer and all the best jokes are in the trailer, and then you see the movie and you're disappointed because you've already had all those awesome moments brought to your attention. You've already experienced them before you've had a chance to see the movie. So now it's like you're just watching, you're there, and the only thing you get to experience for the first time now is the filler in between the 5 good jokes. And you get disappointed. You'd be disappointed anyways because the movie only has 5 good jokes, but you're more disappointed because those 5 good jokes are already spoiled for you. So if a video game is kind of already like, you already know everything you're going in for, like, yes, you get to experience it yourself, but there's that sense of like, wow, I can do this too. That sort of thing can only happen once, and it's better to happen when the player has the controller in their hands than when they're watching a YouTube video. Like it gives them more ownership on the discovery of that ability. You let them know enough of what they can do to whet the appetite, but then, especially a game with apparently a whole universe of things to do, you don't want to show all your cards at once. You just show enough cards. Here I'm mixing all my metaphors again, but you just reveal enough that you get people.
So you take the paper off the side of the cupcake.
Yeah, and then you stick the hook in, and then and then you
let those dogs fight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a riot.
Everybody still with me here? You good? All right.
You nailed it. Stuck the landing. That's perfect. So and I'm happy with it. I mean, that thing is they really upped their game. I think there's some part of me that actually probably would have preferred an Xbox. Honestly, my last console had been the Xbox, and I tend to like how they do consoles and such. But the real focus of this game, and besides, honestly, I think the majority of friends that I know that play also have this one. So I mean, hell, like 2 out of 3 dads had a PlayStation 4. So
Might as well go with it.
yeah, if we were gonna.
I had a lot of adjustment too because I really like the Xbox 360, and I was thinking of the Xbox One, and just kind of like, oh, well, it could be nice to stick with the same system and just sort of the way that they had done their whole UI for their system, and it felt good, it felt comfortable, and then Xbox One looked like it would be kind of familiar and inviting, but there was also just that thing about an entire library of games with PlayStation that I've never had a chance to experience, since I kind of switched. It's like I hop between consoles from like I went from PlayStation 2 to Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4. Like I just frog hop between them all. But yeah,
No
I see
brand loyalty. Look at you.
Yeah,
Marketers hate them.
Find out why.
I also compare their products to pastries you find on the side of a highway, but
Oh, here we go. All right.
It begins.
But no, once I got used to the PlayStation 4's interface and everything, it just started to feel comfortable. And now I really like it. Like it's really nice. It's streamlined. It's clean. It gets me where I need to be. I love being able to minimize my game and pull up Netflix. Like all those aspects about it just feel good and intuitive. I'm sure the Xbox One has very similar components, and I imagine one day I will experience them too. But for the time being, I'm really happy with the PS4. Like it's a fun system. There's also a really nice library on it that I don't really see with the Xbox, and the exclusives available on the Xbox are things that aren't quite as alluring to me, in a sense of like I haven't had a chance to experience this narrative arc yet, this franchise, or there's new things coming out that are PS4 exclusive that just they're new things that we're exploring, new things that we're seeing. So plus the indie games that are coming out for the PS4 are really solid as well. You're seeing a lot of exclusives for PS4 in the indie development that you're only seeing timed exclusives for in the PS or in the Xbox development, but that could change. But like right now, the PS4 is they have a great relationship with the indie titles that are being released, so that's really fun too.
Yeah, if actually that's a good segue because just to close out the show, I was thinking of asking you guys for some recommendations. I mean, for one thing, so 2 that I want to dip into. Like I've never actually got to play Shadow of the Colossus, so I'd like to pick that up and get that playing.
Yeah,
there was
nobody needs to convince you about that.
Last of Us.
Jeez, yeah, Christ, Last of Us. I never got a chance to play that. I'll have to try that one. There was I want to play. There's something called Odin Sphere. I think it had come out for the PS3 initially. It's a side-scrolling, super beautiful, like artistic, like very flat-looking it's kind of like someone took a a really nice looking piece from like DeviantArt and turned it into a video game. But
That's probably the best description I've heard of it. Actually.
That is good. And I know exactly what you mean.
but it's but a good DeviantArt piece. Let's be clear on that, like a very good one. But I think it's kind of based a little bit in Norse mythology, so Viking type of stuff. But it's just like fully voice acted. Like apparently, it's a pretty cool story, and the combat is very reminiscent of the game I'd played and recommended, Elysian Tale or Dust. Dust and Elysian Tale, yeah. Just like with the combos and like the side-scrolling things. So, and I love that one to death. So, yeah, very curious I want to try that one. So now, as PS4 vets, like besides Last of Us, like what other recommendations would you have for me?
Well, you have Uncharted, and you need to play that before No Man's Sky, right?
Yeah, because
Finish
I'll
that
never get a
one,
chance otherwise.
because it won't happen otherwise.
And I would avoid playing like Naughty Dog games quite close to one another because I found like some of the movement mechanics and the cover mechanics and stuff in Last of Us kind of similar to Uncharted. Just because it's like when you play two different Ubisoft games, sometimes there's certain things that you start to see where it's like, yeah, they made a good design choice. Of course, is going to echo through to other things because that's how you solve that problem. So there's this slight familiarity between those two titles that I think might, feel weird for you. So I would like tuck some No Man's Sky in between those two. I'm trying to think of what else I have that.
I would do Infamous. I think you'd really like Infamous.
Yeah.
Or
I had played it on the I played its competitor, the Xbox competitor called Prototype.
okay, yep.
Which was similar, and it's basically ends up being a god simulator because you're a mutant and you're able to grab new powers. You're flying around the sky. That's a good recommendation. Infamous had looked really great. Now the new one or the old one?
The new
Second Son.
Second Son with I think you get First Night as well. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
It's the girl with the neon.
Yeah.
They're both pretty cheap. Like there's
Actually,
sales
they're
all
on
the
sale
time.
right now.
Say again, Gavin.
They're on sale right now.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
Where at EB Games?
No, on the digital store.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The PlayStation store.
He's like, where's that? What? There's this
What?
store?
On the line? My goodness.
On
Experience
the
this.
interwebs.
Yeah, because the 360 was so archaic. I clearly wouldn't understand it.
A side note for Prototype, that game was developed by the same developer that made my favorite Hulk game of all time called Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Oh yeah, that was a good game.
That was an excellent game. How have they not recreated that for?
Yeah.
I think even if they just forget, don't do a big new. Just take that game, up-res it, give it some new power and maybe some new physics for the buildings or something.
Honestly, just leave it as it is. Just give me a port. I don't care. I just want to play it again and not have to drag my PS2 out of storage. I just want those games. So
Man, that was on the PS2. That's an amazing accomplishment for the PS2.
It was so good, and those wrestling combo moves, that game was just beautiful. Everything about it was so much fun. You felt so powerful. It was just a study in catharsis. When you take a running jump and grab a helicopter out of the air and then impale a robot with it, come on. I made gloves out of a sedan. And then I punched a monster in the face with them. That's just too good.
And I was tempted to pick it up because there's a pretty good sale on it, but Transformers, nuts. The most recent one, it looks very cartoonish, it's a cel-shaded style.
Yeah.
Return to someone care to Google real quick.
Transformers?
Yeah, there's a recent Transformers game.
Those are always to me hit and miss.
Devastation.
Never know.
Yeah, so Devastation. So this one looks like the 80s cartoon. They've styled it very much in that vein. And if you see some of the videos around the combos and the action, I would say it's a little bit of, not exactly one-to-one, but just that feeling you kind of got from the combat of that Hulk game kind of carries over to this, where it's you're in the space and it's all about big brazen. It's about embracing the absurdity of it, where you are a car that punches other cars, and it just seems to go with it. So I'd heard great things. I never actually played it. It seems like it's along that same vein. So we have geez, so in summary, what do we have that as that list? So we have Last of Us, Infamous. Um,
I'm trying to think of other
You tried
exclusive.
Bloodborne if you wanted to kill yourself at the end of it, but
so I saw that in sales. Just like I don't know
it's
if
a
I want to.
hard game.
Yeah.
I don't want to get that good at something.
Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank's a good one. Platformer.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Fun.
Yep.
Pretty easy. Lots of
Uh,
weapons.
you always tuck into some God of War.
God of War. Yes. Get ready for the new one.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. There's a new one. What was
God of War.
the? Was there a PS4? Was there a God of War for PS4 specifically?
No.
Yes. Third. No.
Oh, like a remaster,
They
isn't
did
it?
the remaster. Yeah.
No, no, no. So I mean, like one that was built and released only on PS4. It's all been PS3 stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm a PS4 guy now. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the past.
I want to go back.
Says the guy who's excited to play Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. Killzone's okay if you want to do Killzone.
That one is super cheap. Like I think I saw that one for like $4. And I was like,
Like eye candy. Like it's not. There's no real story to it.
my worry was that I think like, that one is pretty old, is it not? Like that was like the beginning of. Yeah. See what? And my slight issue with that is I'm kind of excited to see this console. Besides games that are just absolutely phenomenal, like top and bottom. I'm kind of curious to see what this console can do and things like Nathan Drake or even Just Cause to an extent, like what they've been able to, besides loading times, what they've been able to like squeeze out of this thing. Like the visuals are incredible. So I wanted to, and yeah, Last of Us, like that type of overarching thing.
Do Uncharted and then never go back to anything.
Cool. That is an excellent list actually. So I'll start to take a peek. I think we'll maybe do a weekly thing where it's in addition to beer picks.
Yeah.
You guys can tell me which PS4 games to get. Love the
Trevor
And
told
Nah,
Trevor's
but we'll-
money.
I would highly recommend just to see like good visuals. Doom was beautiful. Some of the
It was, yeah.
atmospheric renderings and stuff like that, really, really solid. It was one of the prettier games I've played in a while. It was actually weird, like going from it and then going back to some other games I was playing and just being like, wow, yeah, they raised the bar quite a bit. And what they're able, and the load times are very reasonable on it too. So yeah, because you
Okay.
die.
Yeah.
But
Okay, good. I'll dip into that. Sorry, go on.
no, it was a very pretty game. Like it was just visually pleasing. The one thing in it that I really loved was all the glass had this sort of asymmetrical foggy dew on it that would distort things you look through to. It just made the entire area feel like moist and humid, and like you pair that with like all the gore and blood everywhere, it just added to the atmosphere, and that was really just like a textural treatment they did on glass that just collected the condensation in the room. But it was just the way that was handled. It just little details like that, and that's what these consoles can do now, is they can show these little details to help tell more of a story about the environment you're in. And yeah, it was just little things like that. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's really neat.
Oh,
So,
Metal Gear. Hello, Metal Gear.
oh yeah, there's that too.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that one too. I wasn't based on your recommendations. Okay, I'll pick it up now. I was a little bit on the fence about it because not anything because I've never like I played the first one for PlayStation. I never
Oh,
really spun
well.
around on the system, played around with it much more. Just somebody that seemed a little bit of a stretch, but I have heard a lot of good things, and some of the replay videos are kind of fun. So if you would recommend it, then
Yeah, it just depends on your tolerance for wacky,
Yes, very much so.
because that
It's
game
over the top,
can
like
be a little nuts.
off the charts.
Yeah,
that's
which
so
is weird. It's almost like an uncanny valley of like narrative tone.
Yeah, that's right.
So seriously, and then you have these really wacky moments that just contrast starkly with like a shrapnel bloody mess of a protagonist, but then it's like and it's just this weird,
Yeah. Or he hides in a
Yeah.
box. Bling.
yeah, and it's like, how's this? It's like you're like a geopolitical military thriller and you're hiding in a box. So
Right.
if you can handle that juxtaposition, which they have in boxfuls, then yeah.
come on. Oh, man. So that happened. That sounds good. So last thing I'll mention, I think we should probably wrap it up for the week. Like Gavin, you had mentioned, like possibly you could lend something. I had a friend of mine at work there. He said the same thing. Like, I'll bring next time I'm in town. I'll bring some discs, and you could just and you can play around with them.
Yeah.
And it's just like that concept is now so foreign to me because I haven't done that in ages. It's like, you can like these discs are like
You can share it over digital if you wanted to. Not to put Gavin on there, but like you can share play for like an hour on anything.
no, well, an hour. Like
But at least you get a taste. Like, so if Doom's installed, you can play it for an hour. And
Yeah, well, you gotta factor load time in too.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, the thought that you could like just take this like physical disc and like pass it to somebody else, and now they get to play that physical disc, and it's
No.
like, shit, no, like I'm not asking for donations, guys. I'm just like, I'm saying I'm finding it like curious. You don't lend games. And by the way, I don't want your games, Jeff. I'm just
if I
curious.
if I buy a disc,
Talk to your kids about sharing yet, or are you?
no, this is mine. This is mine.
Everything but games, kids.
These days, if you buy a disc, it's like a collector's item. It sits on your shelf. It's in a pretty box. It's done. If I want like something on a sale or I don't really care about it, digital, and then I can't really share it. But
Okay, so most of your games that you're playing on PS4 are the digital versions.
yeah, even just with the pricing, before our Canadian dollar got killed, but it's a lot cheaper just in the store if you buy them. It's just hard drive space, so you'll figure that out quickly.
You'll get there.
Disc or digital, it's the same space. So
But this thing also, like again, like in this beautiful future, I think you can plug in an external hard drive, right?
I don't think so.
You
Oh,
can.
jeez.
No, but you can pull the hard drive out and put in a fresh one.
Yeah.
Like if you want to go buy your own, like, because it's just a standard like hard disk drive. So you could go to like a computer shop and just buy like a 1 or 2 terabyte drive and just swap it out. I know some people who have actually swapped out for solid state drives. To try
Yeah, I was
to,
gonna say, can you upgrade it to an SSD?
You can, but
I don't
you'll
think there's much
probably get a
gain.
storage hit, or you'll be paying just as much for the solid state drive as you did for the whole console.
Because I have
If you
Oh,
got
there's
like 1 terabyte solid state drive kicking around, then yeah, chuck it
Oh
in.
God, yeah.
But dust the gold off of it first, because apparently
no, that's I think you guys are overselling that a bit. So there was an Amazon Amazon
Mobular.
Mobile.
I wouldn't give Amazon your credit card number.
Yeah. Why aren't I getting my purchases? Amazon. Amazon.co. So no, so Amazon had a sale on, and it was a 750 gig SSD for $200.
That's not too bad, but that's only gonna bump you up another 250.
Yeah, but it's SSD compared like that
You
speed
get like
boost.
4 seconds. The load times are not significantly better.
Oh, okay.
Like you won't. Maybe some games I think are more optimized than others, but for the most part, it's not gonna matter.
Okay, I'd much prefer not to bother and touch anything. I'd be happy to leave it alone.
Trevor destroys his warranty next week.
Well, the whole purpose of this thing is just to not. It's a game machine that I don't have to think about because like the gaming PC is enough of a bother where it's a thing. There's like constant like drivers that require my attention as opposed to this is just supposed to be the blue Nathan Drake box that sits on the cabinet.
As long as it's got automatic updates, and you're good. Otherwise, you'll.
Yeah, because that's one of the things about the low power mode too. But anyways, now we're just again reviewing a 2-year-old console. So
You're new.
it's that young jubilant excitement as I just dived in. All for the better. Sorry, go on, Gavin.
Just change the date on the episode.
Yeah, like PS4 like at launch day, be perfect. Except all this conversation about No Man's Sky will kind of like.
Oh, it's like we're predicting the future. That's all.
Yeah.
Or it was announced then.
Yeah.
Nice. It has been a while. Oh, so I think that will do it for this week. After gushing over consoles and Jeff's love of launching from sides.
I finished it. Look at
I
this. It's done. This side launch is done.
I kept watching, like, it's pretty obvious to see because it's this big yellow.
Yeah.
I can't just, like, coming into frame. So.
I won't fault them on their marketing and their, design of this. This is great, but
It's hard to miss.
I don't like it.
Hey, Gavin, you gotta save me because it's all. I don't know what to do with myself if like you also think it's like skank water.
I'll let
Gas
you know.
station muffin. Cupcake.
I kind of want to go to the gas station and get a muffin now or a cupcake. Sounds delicious.
Or it's Bible.
Or it's every, everybody. Thank you once again for listening.
I don't know how you're gonna transition to close.
just pull the band-aid off. Like, just end it. Pull the cord. That's a better one. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. We do this show weekly. You can find us on iTunes and Google Play. I believe we're on their podcast store as well, but anywhere you can subscribe to a podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can visit our website at newdadgaming.com. If you have any show suggestions or questions you'd like us to address, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love rating on iTunes, share it, and subscribe. Pass it around. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. And until next time, I'm Trevor, and I have a 1 year and 2 month old.
My name's Gavin. I have an 11-month-old.
And I'm Jeff. I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
It's just like a slow tumble down off a cliff towards the end there. Just like, it's like, way to call it? I should probably call it. Like, okay, now let's talk about update features on the PS4.